Hi everybody, this is Chad the Gaming Dad here on Dad's Games, and it's time for another Friday Father Knows Best. And everybody's doing it, man. Everybody's doing it. So I guess I have to come out and talk about the Nintendo Switch presentation. But really, the only thing I could think of, and I've been thinking about this topic for a while now, while I'm watching the Nintendo Switch presentation, I was thinking about basically like my tagline, what I say all the time: you never outgrow video games, right? Well, do you? Or do you not outgrow video games? I don't know. For me personally, that means basically that I'm never going to stop playing games. But am I going to get to the point where I'm going to stop being interested in new stuff? Maybe. Does that mean that I've outgrown video games? Or does that mean that video games as we know it will be no more? That's the real question. So I was thinking that the whole time while I'm watching this Nintendo Switch presentation, because Nintendo, it seems, is going to be the ones left behind if they don't adapt and kind of try to go with the times. You know, the first half of the thing being concentrated on motion controls and all that, I don't know. Let's just go through some facts. I could sit here and state opinions and say, well, that's going to suck, or this is going to be terrible, or that's going to be good, or not. But ultimately, it's going to come down to all of our own opinions, right? And so, me personally, I love Nintendo. I really do. I grew up playing all that stuff. I mean, Nintendo. I got Nintendo everywhere, right? But in today's day and age, and I know that Nintendo tries to say that their console is something different. They don't want to compete with the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 and things like that. But the facts. Let's just get down to the facts, right? The fact is, the Nintendo Switch is going to be $300 US when it comes out, okay? This Christmas, I got an Xbox One S that does 4K, that can play 4K DVDs if I ever want to get one of those. It can stream 4K. It actually puts out 4K signal. The games themselves are not natively 4K, but it's, for all intents and purposes, it's a 4K machine, right? Oh, I forgot to mention, the Xbox One S was on sale for $250, and it also came with a game. Whether or not these systems that the Nintendo Switch will be competing with, they want to say all day long, we're not competing with them. If you're in the video game section of a store and there's PS4s and Xbox Ones and the Nintendo Switch sitting right next to them, you are competing with them whether you want to or not. People don't have the money to buy every system out there normally, and it's competing with them. Whether you think it is or not, it is competing with them. You're not getting bang for your buck here, guys, on this Nintendo Switch. It's pretty expensive for what it is. It's not going to offer as much in terms of visual, statistics. It can't do 4K. Heck, the screen itself, the little screen that you play on, I believe that's only 720p, and it goes up to 1080p or something like that when it's in the dock, okay? So that's a fact. Right there, they're behind the 8-ball. But the fact is, even the PS4, not the PS4 Pro, I know the PS4 Pro is a little bit more expensive, but the regular PS4 and the PS4 Slim, they can do all that stuff too, and it's $299 right now, and you can usually find it on sale. And it usually comes with a game and is bundled in with some other stuff too. So, again, PS4, Xbox One, doesn't matter how long they've been on the market. It's what can you do for me today? Somebody's shopping for a console right now, today. What can you do for me today? Oh, you got a ton of games out there that I can play, a bunch of which have already been out for like a year or more, and they're used and they're cheap. We're talking like AAA games for $20 and stuff. And I can play DVDs on it and Blu-rays and 4Ks and all that. Those systems will be competing because they're about the same price, sometimes less. Okay, you can't take them on the go. So that's where Nintendo wins. There may be some people out there that just absolutely love this system simply because they're a commuter. They fly a lot. They're on a bus a lot. They whatever. Somebody that needs something specifically for them that they can take with them and play full-size games on the go. Now, that's really cool. The negative side, they said the battery life is 2.5 hours to 6 hours. I'm saying, you know, you look at their website, it says Breath of the Wild will run for 3 hours. Okay, so I'm thinking most things will be closer to the 2.5 to 3 hour range. 6 hours, I mean, what are you going to be playing for 6 hours that doesn't take up any screen or anything? I mean, maybe if you just play music through it, I don't even know if it can do that. Or if you just have it on standby mode, maybe it'll last for 6 hours. But I have my doubts about the battery life, okay? So that's another issue. We keep going. They really announced nothing. All the games that people are going to be interested in, none of them are really launch titles. They're all going to come out next holiday season or next summer or something like that. Man, this ship might have already sailed by then. The only game that's coming out that everybody seems to be excited about is Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Okay, now, call me cynical or whatever you want, but they announced that that game was going to come out on Wii U multiple times and kept pushing it back, saying, we got a little bit more quality. We're going to want to put a little bit more quality in there. All the while, we were hearing all these rumors about the NX, which became the Switch. Call me cynical or whatever you want to call it, but my opinion is that game was done, finished, ready to go. They may have added a few more tweaks since they had more time and everything, but 99% of that game was done back when they were going to launch it before, but they put the brakes on it because they said, there's not very many Wii U's out there. We better hold it off and make it a launch title for the Switch. Yeah, good idea. So those of you out there who are worried that Breath of the Wild is not going to run very well on the Wii U, I think it's going to probably run just fine, because really, if you get the Switch and you get Breath of the Wild on the Switch, you're getting a Wii U port put onto the Switch. It's not the other way around. It's not going to be a Switch game that has to get dumbed down to run on the Wii U. This is a Wii U game, and it's going to run on the Switch. That's what we got. So for me personally, I got my Wii U. I've been wanting to play the Zelda game. I'm going to get the Zelda game when it comes out on the 3rd. And I'm going to hold off on the Switch as long as possible. I love the Mario games and stuff. The one that they showed looked kind of interesting. Not really sure yet. It's an open world thing. I mean, they did Nintendo 64, Mario 64 on the Nintendo 64 back in the day. But doing that all over again now, I just don't know. We'll have to see. I hope it comes out good. I really have the high hopes for the system, and I really want it to work. But just like I asked at the beginning, is video games and video gaming and gamers, are they evolving past Nintendo? Is Nintendo outgrowing video games? Are they? Maybe. I just can't tell. And then the other thing I wanted to point out here as we're going down the facts, their accessories are not cheap. If you want to get the Pro Controller, that thing's pricey. Extra JoyCons are pricey. All of this stuff. You can even go and buy a different dock if you want to just put the Switch if you need to move it from TV to TV to TV. All things that are very expensive. But the last thing I want to focus on here, the thing that really jumps out to me, let's see something here. I got out the ruler, okay? Got out the ruler, and I'll show you here, but take a PS4 controller, take an Xbox One S controller, heck, even take a Wiimote, okay? Look in the pictures that they show you here of the guy holding this Joy-Con. Now, I understand you can play the games mainly with it attached to the screen, and so it's really more like this. I mean, does this kind of look like a Nintendo Switch, anybody? I mean, I think it kind of does. But okay, let's do some quick measurements. So, if you look here on the Wii U, we're talking about 4.5, almost 5 inches tall. Okay, so this is basically your Joy-Con right here. We've had it. Okay, now that might be, at that size, we might be okay, right? But the Joy-Con, as they're showing it, if you look in the picture of this guy, it's barely getting past his palm. You know, we're talking like from here to here. And on an average person, I would consider myself right in the middle of average. We're talking, you know, 3 to 4 inches of room. I think that Joy-Con controller is probably going to be about 4 inches tall, and it looks like it's about an inch, inch and a half wide, but it's real skinny. And they got these little tiny buttons on there that are supposed to be the L and R buttons if you're playing games that need shoulder buttons. I can show you first the PS4 controller and the Xbox One controller, the S controller. They're about the same, okay? They are both at roughly right around about 5.5 to 6 inches width, okay? Pretty comfortable in your hands. People would say that these are pretty successful controllers that people like to play, okay? Now we have the Wiimote, and that fits into your hand, but as you can see here, it sticks up quite a bit. It's a pretty good thing, right? I mean, the Joy-Con being about 4 inches, this is also about 5.5 inches, almost 6, just like a PS4 or a Xbox controller. That seems to be the magic number for the width, right? So even when you play this and you play the old games like this and everything, the buttons are over here, the D-pad's over here on the edges. On the Joy-Cons, the little thing is in the middle. First of all, the stick is in the middle, and then the little buttons are over here. So lose like another inch on that controller because it's dead space out on the edge. I mean, the buttons are not all the way to the edge because they have to have them, you know, flip-flopped reverse like that. Let's go back a little bit further, okay? If you look at the 3DS, okay, here's a 3DS XL, a new 3DS XL, and that's very comfortable to play. And again, if you look at the picture, we're talking right around that magic number of almost 6 inches wide. Comfortable, right? NES controllers, right? NES controllers. How much room do we got on those? Almost 5 inches. So this was a little bit smaller back in the day, but again, the buttons are right out on the edges. Right on the edges. Okay? Last ones I want to show you here. We're going to keep going back into Nintendo's history. Game Boy Advance SP. One of my all-time favorite handhelds because it has such long battery life. Not 2 hours, but I mean, this thing will last you a long time, and it looks good and everything. Now, this is the smallest thing I could find. This is only about 3 inches wide, okay? And the buttons, again, are out on the side, but we got big shoulder buttons back here. And honestly, this is the least comfortable one to hold and play. I mean, go back even a little bit farther. I have a Game & Watch here. Donkey Kong 2 Game & Watch, okay? This thing, back when they were inventing games to play, we're talking this is 4.5 inches wide with the buttons out on the edges, okay? So there's a pretty big concern for a lot of people. If you want to play games, you know, with the screen in the middle, you basically got a Wii U remote, right? You got your Wii U gamepad basically to play like that. But they're advertising that this thing comes with 2 controllers and everything. That's a bunch of BS because yeah, there's 2 Joy-Cons in there, but who can play on those things? I mean, maybe little kids, sure. Little kids, sure. But that's not their audience. Little kids now are into bigger and better things than what this is giving you. People don't want to play the point and click waggle motion and stuff like that. Nintendo just needs to stop outgrowing video games and get back to what it is they have. They have great IPs. They've got great licenses. They've got great gameplay. They've got great people at their company that can make some of the coolest, most fun games that you'll ever imagine. But why do they do this with their hardware and make it so difficult for everybody to want to play these things or to actually play them? I don't know. So, anyways, like I said, I'm not going to be getting a Switch at least until next Christmas. If there are good games coming out for it. I'm looking forward to Zelda, and I'm going to get it on my Wii U, and I'm going to be perfectly fine playing it there. There's no way they're going to release that on the Wii U and have it not playable. Plus, Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's a Wii U game first and foremost that got ported to the Switch. So you got that. I just really hope Nintendo does better. I know they said something else on there about a share button where you can record a still shot or you can record video of your gameplay. Yeah, okay. Well, we know how much they enjoy people posting video of their gameplay, right? So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Yeah, you think they're on to something here with this thing, or do you think maybe they missed it a little bit and I don't know. You think I'm right? What do you think about outgrowing video games? I don't think I'm going to outgrow video games, but man, I tell you what, it's a good thing that I've been collecting for such a long time, because it almost seems like there's going to come a point in time in the not too distant future where I'm not going to outgrow the video games, but video games that are offered won't be video games that I'm used to. And so I'm just going to keep playing all these old ones forever, and I'm never going to stop playing. But man, I don't know. So tell me what you think. Leave me a like, some comments, all that stuff down below. But yeah, here's my obligatory Nintendo Switch video. Plus I had those couple other ideas in there too. So just like always, everybody, till next time, you never outgrow video games. My name's Chad the Gaming Dad, and this is Dad's Games. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. So long, everybody. Thanks again for watching. If you liked that video, please press like and subscribe. I love hearing from you guys, so leave your comments and any suggestions down below. Remember, there's tons of other gamers out there just like you and me, and they also know that you never outgrow video games. Feel free to share these videos all over social media, Twitter, Facebook, or whatever you use. This channel is for all of us. Let's make sure they know that they are not alone. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.